if you want to go this direction with so many people want to go, you can't have Jeff Stoutland. He doesn't want to do it. So
well, he's gone now, so I get it.
Yeah, so you got to make these difficult decisions.
That's what I mean. You got rid of the coach in the room with some pedigree. Hopefully, Sean Mannion and Josh Grizzard and Ryan Mahaffey know what the hell they're doing. All right, we're putting a lot of eggs in their basket. All right, John. Final segment of the show. We got about 30 minutes.
Well, that's a great comment from Brian Fleming. I have to give him credit, which it was. J Mac running StreamYard is like a Patullo offense. No. I'm much worse at running StreamYard than Kevin is running that offense.
Hey, you just pulled up that comment. I'm hands-free over here, John.
Well, I can do that. I can. I've always known how to do that. I don't know how to manipulate the screens and stuff.
Yeah. All right. Well, maybe I'll have to give you a quick rundown, but I think at this point you're like, I'm good on that. So, all right, this is my final thought on the final segment of the day, and we're going to talk about this system and the new scheme that they're going to install, at least by all means. It looks like they're by all the reports, by everything we're hearing, by everything you're hearing, it does seem like they are going to run this new scheme. Will the outside zone and the play action and pre-snap motion and the Shanahan system and all of these things, will it help Hurts or will it hurt Hurts?
Yeah, well, I mean, it doesn't fit him. That's what I would say. It doesn't fit him at all, which is what. But we can be honest with each other, or we can foot around the issue. This is the biggest issue of all. Like how anybody in any NFL building would think this offense is a proper fit for Jalen Hurts is mystifying me. That's why I can't believe Nick's on board with it.
So if I asked you, will this unlock Jalen or expose Jalen, would you answer expose?
Well, I don't like that word because I think it's I think it's like you could say the same thing about any quarterback. Is Matthew Stafford's the MVP of the league. He won the MVP last night. If you put Matthew Stafford in the Eagles offense, would you be exposing Matthew Stafford? I'll ask you. No, you'd be exposing you're a moron.
Yeah, but isn't it different because like Matthew Stafford's skill set is the main skill set of a quarterback to be able to throw the ball well.
So it's the main skill set for what people think is traditional quarterback play. I'm telling you, you have a unique player, and forget about that. Stop trying to make him into a traditional quarterback. Try to take advantage of what he does well, which they've done beautifully, I might add, for the most part. It is, of all the things, this is the most mystifying.
So are they doing to him what they're doing to Nick? They're putting him on an island, and if he sinks, it's easier to move on from him?
I think so. I'm going to start answering all Jalen Hurts questions that way. Now, I'm not picking on you. I'm just saying, you use that word. I don't like that word, exposing, You're exposing any quarterback if you put them in an offense that is not
right.
They're designed to accentuate what they do well. So that's, I mean, because people lose their minds with Jalen Hurts, similar to AEW when I was talking about earlier. Very similar. You got this. It's very similar. It really is. You got this extremes on both sides who are just like, everything he does is great and he can do everything and he's the greatest thing that ever lived. And then you got the other side who's like, well, he can't play like what I think a traditional quarterback should play like. So he's not worth building around. And it's just, there's no common sense in the middle. They've already proven they can win at an extremely high level with the guy.
Don't you feel like, though, the offense that they ran, there was more to Jalen? Like, you could get more out of Jalen or no? I mean, I'm not saying you're going to turn him into Stafford, but Can Sean Mannion get more out of the player? I think you can get more out of Jalen than what they asked him to do the last.
Well, I think you could have a better year.
Well,
I
you
think
said he had
everybody
a
has.
good year.
Yeah, he had a big year in 2022. He had an efficient year in 2024. He had a decent year in 2023, but he turned it over too much. He didn't have a great second half to the season last year. You have those ups and downs. You have a good year. Can he have a better year? I think he will have a better year next year because he'll be hyper focused because he thinks he had a bad year, like everybody else. I've said that.
So this comment would be categorically false. He said, this guy, Original Philly, says the offense they ran had nothing to do with Jalen.
That the offense they ran had nothing to do with Jalen? Yeah, that is. I don't know if you could be 100% wrong, but that's 100%.
Original Phillies making
how could you say it had nothing to do? The offense they ran, which was built around Jalen Hurts, had nothing to do with Jalen Hurts. I don't agree with that, to put it mildly. Now they're trying to go outside, not building around his skill set, which is, look, I said early on, there's two ways before I was convinced that they were going to shift dramatically. There's two ways this can go. You can either go the Kellen Moore route where you try to evolve some things. You try to get better at certain things you're deficient at. And you adjust from there. And, some things might work, some things might not work, and you adjust from there. And it worked ultimately to the point where they won the Super Bowl. Or you can go balls to the wall, hell to high water, and say, nope, we're playing this, and damn it, we're going to do it. And I did not think they would do that, but it seems like they're doing it. And so now it's like, well, you want to play Kyle Shanahan, so that means the ball's coming out on time. That means timing routes. That means anticipatory throwing. Good luck.
What do you think Sean Mannion thinks? I mean, he's watched Jalen enough. I'm sure he knows the player. I'm sure he's watching tape on him ever since he's been hired. What do you think he thinks then? I mean, in a way, if you're Sean Mannion and he thinks anything like you think, which I don't know if he does or not, boy, feels like he's set up to fail. No?
Well, I think Sean Mannion, if he's as smart as everybody says he is, he'll go the Kellen Moore route.
Big if.
Yeah. I think, to get the job, he's a 33-year-old guy with 2 years of coaching experience, telling what he thinks, they want to hear. But ultimately, again, if he's a good coach, he will, when the bullets start to fly, he will revert to what the quarterback and everybody else does well. And that's ultimately the rope-a-dope I was talking about with Nick Sirianni. Like, he'll play the game in the off season. And I'm going to be on here talking about OTAs, hopefully. We're all day to day. And I'm going to be here talking about training camp and the concepts, and there's more emotions and everybody's going to be excited.
Prep for the season in the off season. If you're going to prep for an offense in the off season that you're not even going to run in the season, what the frick is the point?
Well, the off season, no. Training camp, yes.
Right.
Sort of if you get to, the final 2 weeks when we're kicked out. I think there's a lot of misinformation about football. One of the biggest things is like, well, when the schedule comes out, whenever it comes out, maybe it's whomever in week 1 that you're prepping for, Dallas. If it's Dallas again, week 1, from the beginning of training camp, when you're really prepping for them the final week, just like a regular season game, a little bit more, but not much. And Jim Schwartz taught me that, he's like, um, the off season is for teaching. Training camp is for evaluation. Um, and the regular season is about preparation for the next opponent. That's it. Um, Now there's a little bit of bleed over from at the early part of training camp. There's certainly some more teaching at the early part, but you're trying to evaluate what you have on the roster, what you do well, um, and all that kind of stuff. And then obviously, as you get to regular season mode, it's about preparing for that opponent that week, nothing else. And that's what Nick Sirianni's excelled at. Trying to win football games by any means necessary. Ultimately, I think as long as he's here, I don't think that changes. So that's my optimism. I think ultimately, again, if Sean Mannion's even half the coach people think he is, he will revert to what Jalen does well. And I think all this will slowly fade away. But the point I think it was.
Wait though. If that happens, why the hell is Jeff Stoutland leaving?
Well, because they're trying to change the offense. They're trying to change the offense, and he doesn't want any part of it. Now, I forget who it was, but the first, and I didn't hear the comment, so I don't. But he mentioned Cosell. Saying Laurie was pissed. Yeah, I mean, he's pissed. That part's true. He always gets pissed in these types of situations. So right now you're in try to placate the owner territory, which is fine on February 6th. If you're still trying to placate the owner on September 6th, you're probably in a bad situation.
Yeah, well, we will see what happens with it. I think it's going to be very interesting to see. So you think they're going to end up reverting back? What will that mean for the team? I mean, this is a lot of changes they're making, John. I mean, look, it's one thing to talk about it in theory. It's another thing to hire an entire staff for a new scheme. And then you're saying they're going to revert back if Sean Mannion's a good coach?
Yeah, if he's a good coach. If he's a bad coach, he's going to pound the square peg in the round hole, and he's going to try, hey, Jalen, 7-step drop, get the ball out. Good luck with that.
How many wins is this team going to have next year?
Well, I assume Sean Mannion's a good coach, so I think they're going to have a bounce back year. And again, there's so much. I realize people want to go there, but you have no idea who's going to be on this team. I don't know if AJ's going to be here. I don't know if Lane's going to be here. I don't know if Landon now is going to be here. I don't know who the draft picks are. I don't know who they're signing.
I get it. I'm just saying, based on what you're saying, I mean, it feels like it's the beginning of the end. I mean, they're changing everything. You're saying the only way to be a good coach is to basically go back. And I don't disagree with you. I'm just saying that's going to create a conflict bigger than just losing.
No, the only way to be a good coach isn't to go back. It's to take advantage of what you have.
Right.
Now, until the Eagles change what they have, and until they change what they have, they have to accentuate what they have. And people think that's phenomenal talent to begin with. So all you have to do, if you do have all those guys back, AJ, Lane, Landon, all you have to do is accentuate that talent, which is what I think Sean Mannion will do. What you don't want is, again, if you look at it from the other side and pick whatever quarterback you want to pick, I use Matthew Stafford because he's the MVP. Nobody asked that question because obviously you had a successful season. You're the MVP. But even if you go down to a quarterback that had a mediocre season, let's use Sam Darnold. Are you putting Sam Darnold in the Eagles system? I mean, what
Yeah, but it's the reason that I don't like doing it like that is because that's not what quarterbacks aren't drafted for their running ability. Quarterbacks aren't signed for their running ability. Receivers are scouted, drafted, and signed because they can catch the ball and get open. Running backs are scouted, drafted, and signed because they can run the football. Quarterbacks are scouted, drafted, and signed because they can throw the football. No? You get what I'm saying? Like there's a crux point.
Yeah, well, you got to get
you can add. Yes, there are other things you can do, of course, but you got to be able to do the main one.
People love to embrace the idea of Jalen Hurts' mindset. You know, the standard is the standard. You know, win. They loved it. They love it, but they don't really love it. Because again, all these quarterbacks, and it's not quarterback versus quarterback. It's the team as a whole. But from the standpoint of success, obviously Jalen's had more success than anybody but maybe Patrick Mahomes, who, you know, is even had a bad season this year because of circumstance. But they constantly want him to change. I know that. They constantly want him to.
It just sounds ridiculous in just the sentence you just said. He's had more success than most, except for Patrick Mahomes, and they want him to change.
Yeah.
Hello.
Well, but I mean, you hear it constantly.
I know. I get it.
Because people perceive what they want to perceive. You have to be a traditional quarterback. You have to be a traditional quarterback. You have to be a traditional quarterback.
No, but there's a baseline skill set, no?
Well, he does have a baseline skill set.
That's what I'm saying. I agree that he's got the skill set.
But he there's a difference from doing it. Again, what sets the Peyton Mannings and Tom Brady's and Drew Brees, who went in the Hall of Fame, apart is their consistency from week to week to week to week. He doesn't have that consistency. You can't just say you should be because you did it against Minnesota, so do it again.
Every week.
That's what sets those guys apart. Obviously, and you know, he's played two of his best games on the biggest stage in the Super Bowls, two of his best games. And I would argue in the loss, he was much better than in the win. He doesn't do that from week to week. He isn't that kind of passer who can do it from week to week. His up weeks, yeah, he can do it. But there's too many down weeks. And that's why you're trying to maximize the up weeks and minimize the down weeks. How do you do that? You play into what he does well. And the key for him in the passing game is efficiency. It's key to him in every, you know, part of offense is efficiency, but you can't turn him into those guys because he did it against Minnesota. I mean, you can point to it to make yourself feel better, but you're ignoring all the inconsistencies before and after. So it's like, you know, it's like an NBA scorer who he scored 40 one night. Why can't he score 40 every night?
So how much is going to change? Like what? Like for the offense? Because we are assuming they're going to start with it changed. Now, maybe they do revert. How much of it will change? What looks different? And be as specific as you possibly can. Assume somebody listening has no idea what the Shanahan offense means. They have no clue what that means.
Well, number one, it's got to be, again, you got to have, it starts with the preparation. So, you know, what kind of play designer is Sean Mannion? Number one. That's where it starts with. The far more important stuff happens behind the scenes. I talk about it all the time. Um, but when you talk about the Shanahan offense and what everybody tries to copy, yeah, a lot of it is the motion stuff. A lot of it is, um, creating leverage with the motion stuff, formational stuff too. Um, a ton of play action, ton of under center. The run game, which is what we were talking about, is um, why Jeff left is wide zone. So think about you're trying to you're trying to stretch everybody horizontally. So you have, and by the way, Saquon Barkley ain't Le'Veon Bell. You need a patient running back who's trying to stretch things out, take time, well, let the blocks develop, and then cut back. So you're talking about that. Um, with the play action passing game, remember that's about very consistent footwork and mechanics and 3 and 5 and 7-step drops. You got a lot of boots, you got a lot of keepers. Think about the Hassan Reddick play where Brock Purdy almost killed himself because he didn't get the ball out on time, because there's a lot of designs where the quarterback is responsible for the rusher. In other words, if there's a free rusher, well, that means you're responsible and the ball's got to come out. The motion, which everybody loves, the eye candy, that's used to decipher coverage matchups, which, by the way, Jalen, from all indications, likes to do that formationally, doesn't like to do it in that way. You saw how many issues they had getting to low in the shot clock, so to speak. That becomes more of an issue. It's designed to create leverage when it comes to getting receivers open. You obviously you're looking for the mismatches on defense. So if you have, a linebacker who can't cover a running back, or you're one of their corners are struggling. Kyle's very good at seeing those unfavorable matchups and taking advantage of it from an offensive perspective. While he does use 3 receivers a lot, he's more apt to use heavier personnel. So you might need a fullback. Kyle Juszczyk. They signed Carson Steele. There's going to be a decent amount of tight ends, so you got to you have no tight ends. As far as what everybody cares about, and that's the passing game. I mean, a lot of long designing plays, a lot of 3-level concepts, a lot of vertical stuff that open up the underneath stuff. There's one thing funny, because hot routes became a thing.
Yeah.
In Kyle's offense, they don't use a lot of hot routes. And that relies on on what I was saying about the Purdy play with Hassan Reddick, that the quarterback's got to recognize where the unblocked guy is, and all the sight adjustments of cutting things off and getting the ball out than traditional hot routes. It's very complicated. And it will take years to master. From not only the quarterback, the coaches. It's like Vic on defense. And I think, I think be careful what the hell you wish for.
You got one of those J-Mac grins on your face.
This does not fit the Philadelphia Eagles at all. At all. Now, you can start adjusting and drafting players to fit, the manufactured touches. You don't have that player. You don't have Christian McCaffrey to run angle routes and out of the backfield, and you don't have that. It ain't easy to find a player like that, but I think it's more likely they end up going more the McVay version, which is a little bit less complicated. Simply because, it's going to take too much time to get up to speed, I think, in this particular one, but those are some of the things that are sort of key parts to his offensive philosophy.
The Rams, they change often. They change. They changed this year.
Well, they don't change. They don't change
No, they
often.
don't change.
They changed this year. They changed this year because
though. They have flexibility.
Well, and Sean's a good offensive coach. I think people overemphasize him as a head coach, but he's a great.
You're kind of a McVay hater, a little bit.
No, I'm not. I just think it's ridiculous. If you've seen it. How many coaches have been hired off the Sean McVay because they coach with Sean McVay? And I think you've seen him. He did everything humanly possible to lose, to lose that game against Chicago in the playoffs. It's just a shit show of game management. But offensively, he's great. But the ironic thing about Sean McVay is he uses the same route combinations like all the time. Like, and that's what everybody hates here. But he changes formations. He changes personnel.
Yeah. He does use
them, but he uses the same. And this is on record. He uses the same 10 or 12 route concepts all the time. He literally calls his offense. He tells the players, illusion of complexity. You make it look complex, but it's easy for you. And he's very good at it. And this year he did ship to he is much simpler than Kyle, and that's why I think it's going to be more McVay like. This year he shipped it because they had, when Devontae Adams got injured, they played a lot of 13 personnel. They weren't as deep at wide receiver. They had a bunch of tight ends, and he deserves the credit. But again, he's using the same 10 route combinations with different personnel. That's it. And the running game is all wide zone, just like Shanahan, which is, trying to stretch people and cut it back. And they have a running back, Kyron Williams, who is patient and stretches people and cuts it back. Also fumbles too much, but
I think he had a better year with that. You're going to hold that against him still?
Yeah, well, too many big time fumbles in big situations. But he was better this year. There was no doubt about it. But obviously they used a lot of motion, pre-snap motion for to figure out coverage. Under center, a lot of they probably elevate. They did a lot more, to his credit as well. A lot more of what the Eagles did in the running game this year, because they had so many tight ends on the field. So they used more pin and pull stuff. They used more double team stuff, combo blocks, because of all the tight ends. So Sean impressed me because he did some new things this year. But I just find it ironic because he's honest about his route concepts, and because people kill the Eagles for their lack of route. He admits he's got 10 or 12. That's it. It's like Jimmy Johnson. It's like he had 3 running plays, you know. He's got 10 or 12, and he changes personnel and changes formation. I think of the two, I think you're more likely to get a McVay style offense than a Shanahan style offense.
We'll see what ends up happening with the Philadelphia Eagles this year. John, it's going to be a very interesting season next year and off season as we lead up to it. This was an interesting week. A lot of change this week, a lot of crazy storylines this week. Landon Dickerson today, we were talking about earlier in the show. If you missed that, could Landon retire? I guess that's not as out of the realm of possibility as we probably thought. I don't think that was on anybody's mind. Jeff Stoutland is out of here. And your offensive staff is starting to form, John. You got Sean Mannion. You got Ryan Lahaffey, who they brought in yesterday to be the run game coordinator and the tight ends coach.
Ryan Mahaffey. We didn't talk enough about Ryan Mahaffey. He's a wide receivers coach for the last 2 years, and now he's the Philadelphia Eagles run game coordinator.
Replacing Jeff Stoutland.
What a world. What a world. I should have applied for that job.
Yeah, you should have. You should have, J-Mac.
I'm too old. They're not going to hire me.
Dude, you're making me be a doom and gloom about this season. I think we might be cooked after listening.
What? The guy, I'm not. He's got a unique background. I know we got to go, but he's got a unique background. Because he's coached tight ends, he's coached receivers, he's coached the offensive line for a brief period, and he's coached wide receivers. So it's rare that you see somebody bounce around like that. He was also an offensive coordinator in college, lower, northern Iowa, but still. But he goes from assistant offensive line coach in Green Bay to wide receivers coach. He was the wide receivers coach in 2024 and 2025, and now he's the Philadelphia Eagles run game coordinator and tight ends coach. Look, a lot of guys, especially younger in their career, some of them coach offense, some of them coach defense. They go both sides. The best coaches know it, all the positions. So there's a lot of positive to that, but it's just very rare where you see somebody go from a wide receivers coach to a run game coordinator and then replace Jeff Stoutland. But clearly they want a guy who understands the scheme they want to run, and he does. So is he a better run game coordinator than Jeff Stoutland? Probably not. But is he a better run game coordinator in this scheme? Probably. Not probably, because Jeff doesn't want to run it.
Man, it's going to be interesting. John, recap real quick the coaching. So what's the changes then? Is Loeffler out? He's out, right? I saw somebody report it yesterday, but it wasn't like a Philly guy or like what? I don't know. I forget who it was.
Well, he's obviously out. I haven't seen anybody report it. They hired. They're interviewing quarterbacks. Coach.
It was like Football Scoop, who's Scott Roussel. I don't know if you know who that is.
Oh yeah, Football Scoop knows what he's talking about. So if he reported it,
he put out that Eagles are parting ways with quarterback Scott Loeffler, according to Football.
Yeah,
Scoop.
Football Scoop is very in tune to the college stuff. So yeah, they know. And obviously, there's no secret they were moving on. And the same thing, they haven't actually moved on from Parks Frazier as the passing game coordinator, but they hired a passing game coordinator. So Parks Frazier isn't going to be back. And they hired a tight ends coach. So Jason Michael isn't going to be back, but they haven't. And there's a possibility guys can shift positions. So you can't say until it's official. You can't say with 100%, but you can be pretty comfortable saying, that Scott Loeffler is not going to be back.
So Loeffler's out. Parks Frazier's out. Stoutland is out. Jason Michael's out. Everybody's out. Everybody's gone. Offense is gone.
They're changing. They're changing the offense.
Yep. We'll see. All right, John, your final thoughts on a chaotic week in Eagle Land.
My final thoughts are I got to figure out how to work StreamYard better in case
Man,
of emergency.
case of emergency. I go down. We're cooked.
Look at the stuff here at the bottom. Let me see. Does this work? No. What is that? What did I do? No.
It's the graphic. There's screens, which is you and I, and then there's overlays. So graphics that lay on top of our screens.
I get it, but what I need.
What no, I'm saying is, even if you become full screen, but the graphic is still there, you're split screen. See that? Is this what it looked like when I left?
Yes.
This is presumably what it looked like when I left.
Yes.
Now, if you go to the media assets and click off the screen, the one I showed you, the last one, I deleted a couple of them.
All right, there we go.
There you go.
All right.
Now you're no.
There we go. There we go. That's all I was looking for. That's all I need.
You kind of dropped the graphic. It's the overlay. It's the overlay that was your problem, because that will stay above everything. That's what that means, basically, overlay. All right, John, a little StreamYard,
Back.
little StreamYard lesson for you on the way out the door. John, have a good weekend, my friend. If we have breaking news, I'll talk to you. I doubt it. Actually, if we get breaking news in the middle of a Saturday, which I don't think we will, I will not be available. I have pre-Cana tomorrow. So I have an all-day event tomorrow. I am nowhere near the computer for the first time in a long time.
All right. Well, enjoy getting away. This team will probably, at this point, so if you hire a running back coach or a wide receivers coach, it's not exactly groundbreaking. So I think most of the big stuff, I think you'll be fine. I think you'll be fine.
We'll see. All right, John. Good show, man. I'll talk to you on Monday.
All right. See y'all.
All right. Thanks, dude. There's Johnny Mac, John McMullen joining us right here on Birds 365. Good show today. Sorry, everybody, about my internet dropout. I think I got it all fixed up, squared away now. I do apologize for that. It was out longer than I expected it to be out. Okay, so I do apologize for that. Appreciate J-Mac. Fleming, stop it. Oh, man, there's too much shit, Fleming. You got me laughing now, man. Oh, crap. There's a lot going on in Eagle Land, brothers and sisters. All right. You're not there. You're not. There's a lot going on in Eagle Land. All right. There's a lot going on in Eagle Land, and I'm hopeful that the Eagles will be able to pull through. We'll be able to prevail. We'll be able to have a good year. John was pretty doomer on it, though, wasn't he? So tomorrow, Sirianni. I know, the intern, that's how it would go. My luck, that's how it would go. I don't do shows every single day, but if something happens, I always make the availability. Always. Tomorrow is the first day I'm actually not, I actually will not be able to do it. It doesn't matter what happens. I don't have my phone. I don't have my computer. I don't have anything. I can't even see if it happens. All right. 78 days to the draft. You get it all on 365. Injury, hiring, firing, and StreamYard 101. Yes, sir. Riding the bench. Hope you're doing well, brother. Good to see you in here. Play the yell sound for J-Mac. I should have. This is what I should have done. I should have played it. It's funny is John's a smart guy. It's not hard. It's not hard. It's like is as easy as it gets. It's like clicking through. It's like clicking through any of the most basic shit on your phone. Clicking through the cell phone app on your phone or the phone app to call somebody. J-Mac seems quite optimistic. What? Wait a second. Is that your takeaway from J? I had the opposite takeaway. Did anybody else have this takeaway that John seems optimistic? Pre-Cana, I'm a Catholic, bro. Pre-Cana is like you do it before you get married in the Catholic Church. So you go, you meet with, you do stuff at the rectory, you meet with everybody. It's a Catholic thing. That's what it is. I'm excited for it though, actually. I'm excited for it. I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be pretty dope to do with my fiance. I'm looking forward to it for sure. So that's what it is though. Xander, I went through pre-K in a 40. Big Mike, God bless you, brother. Hopefully you are still married to the same beautiful woman that you married 40 years ago. J-Mac is telling you Philly is in the dark ages. That's what it sounds like. Gary, I'm at the point where I don't give an F. If it's different than the past 4 years, cool. I hear you. All right, I hear you. They're going to ask me hard-hitting questions. Fleming, and I will have no answers. Just kidding, Fleming. I always got fucking answers. All right? In fact, the priest might be watching now. He's going to grill me for cursing on the show. I always got answers, Fleming. All right? They might not be the right answers, but I got them. I'm only optimistic because I can't see the Eagles' offense getting worse. Basically the same talent. That's fair. They could turn the ball over a lot more. Nice, E. Congrats. Thanks, bro. Appreciate it. Yes, I am, brother. Good stuff, Big Mike. Good stuff. Fleming, dude, you got to chill, bro. Fleming is got to chill. I'll say that. Now Hurts season says, I'm excited to see the offense we've seen to not see the offense we've seen for 2.5 years. Me too. That's a good way to look at it. Oh, the offense is going to be worse. Sig Lord is doom and gloom. Same talent. Our O-line is a mess. I agree with you, Twiz. Yo, how about that Landon Dickerson thing? John kind of wanted to poo-poo it, but I don't know. McLean doesn't really put shit out there that McLean doesn't really put shit out there like that. That's crazy. That must be a real thing. That must be a real thing. We're doomed. O-line walking out the door with no way to replace him. I didn't expect to hear that either. Gary says, we had 5 turnovers against the Chargers, still almost won and had a shit offense. That's true. Yeah, but Gary, that's not how you want to live every week, bro. Here's Jerry. What's up, Jerry? Jerry checking in. Listen, the passing has looked terrible for 2 years. Something had to be done. If Hurts can't handle it, it's time to move on. Well, I think that's how they're thinking about it. We'll see. Mike, what's up, Mike? Big Z, if we lose Dickerson, do you think they bring back then, or is he not a scheme? Are you talking about Becton? Bring back Becton, I assume. Then, or is he not a scheme fit anymore? He's probably not a scheme fit anymore either. All that sitting, standing, and kneeling. Rasputin says, I looked more lost than KP on that 4th down play than when I had to take my kid to get baptized in my wife's Catholic church. Well, you ought to read about the Catholic Church, the beauty of the Catholic Church. My favorite part about my life is my Catholic faith. I absolutely love the Catholic faith. Doesn't mean it's perfect. It doesn't mean it has been perfect. I don't know, people always hit me with that. Well, what do you think about this? I'm like, yeah, all right. Not perfect. Any man-made institution is not perfect. Or man-sustained institution, I should say. Christ-made institution. Man-made. Man sustains, though. Here's Fleming. Sitting, standing, and kneeling is Nick Sirianni's job, yeah. I just didn't know the ceremonies. Yeah, I got you. I mean, if you don't know it, you're not going to know it, yeah. I love it, though. I'm just saying. I love it. I think it's very powerful. Very powerful. The only religion, the only sector of Christianity that dates directly, the succession can traces back directly to Christ. Yeah, any institution run by men is not perfect. Correct, David. Here's Sig Lord. Embiid wanted the Sixers to make a trade. They listened, and Epstein's pal decided to send McCain to OKC. Oh, investigate Josh Harris. What's going on with the Sixers, man? I haven't watched the last 10 games. I got to check back in. I'll check back in. I did see that they traded McCain. I told you guys that when they drafted that guy. I'm like, that guy's not going to be here long. I said that. Everybody got mad at me. Remember when the draft was 2 years ago? Yeah, I remember it. Jesus is king. Yes, sir. All right, guys, I'm out of here. I apologize for my internet today. Didn't work so well. I fucked it all up. I messed it all up. Sorry about that. Don't forget to hit the like button. Don't forget, all right? Twiz, you're right about Catholics bending the knee too much. Look at Notre Dame. I criticize Notre Dame for that same reason. Twiz. They tell the traditional people that they shouldn't be so traditional. I think it's bullshit. I agree with you, Twiz. All right, guys. I love all you guys. Appreciate it. Hit the like button. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the Super Bowl. I'm going to take the Patriots. I forgot to ask John. I can't believe it, but we all know he's picking the Seahawks. I'm taking the Patriots. I know. The Seahawks are the better team. I know. I like the Patriots. I like Drake May. I like Mike Vrabel. I like Milton Williams. I think Stephon Diggs had a great year. I like the Pats to win the game. All right. I understand I'm picking the underdog. I understand it's not likely or it's less likely than picking the Seahawks, but give me the Pats. Give me the Pats. Give me Drake May. Give me Mike Vrabel. Enjoy the Super Bowl. It's banging. I have my setup this weekend. I'm going to have me and my fiance. We're not going to be – now, this is going to sound weird to some people. I'm a loner. I like to – I don't need a lot of stimulation. I like hanging out with my brother and my sisters and my family. And outside of that, I don't really – I certainly don't need to be around people all the time. I don't need stimulation from friends. I don't need social interaction as much as some might. I'm good. I love to be alone. I love to eat, and I love to be with just my fiance too. I love to be home. All right. I like to be in my environment. So this weekend for the Super Bowl, I have me, my fiance. That's it. An 85-inch TV. And my fiance, who's an amazing cook. I mean, she cooks up stuff. She teaches shit learns stuff on the fly. She's amazing. I'm blessed because I need a good cook. I came from a good cook. My mom is an incredible. My mom's 100% Italian. That tells you all you need to know. All right, so I'm spoiled with food. Well, my future wife is just as good. And she went on you know how on Instagram they have those posts that go viral? People make these Instagram foods and they say perfect for the Super Bowl. So we went through them. She went through them and sent me them of all these sick foods that look so good for the Super Bowl. And so she's got a list of 5 things that she's going to whip up for us. And we're going to enjoy the Super Bowl together. So I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be an awesome game. It's going to be an awesome day because I'm going to go just hang out with my fiance, eat banging food, relax, work probably a little bit, do some things. So I appreciate all you guys being here. Actually, I just told you guys how much sometimes I don't need social interaction. Sometimes I get off the show and I'm like, ugh. This is my emotional, this is my social interaction is talking with you guys. That's it. That's where I get it. It satisfies my quota more than enough. All right. So that's it. But I do love all you guys and I do appreciate all you guys, including you listening. All right. Thank you all. It's been a good year for the Eagles. Not really, but it's been a good year covering the Eagles. And I think there's a lot coming up, man. I really think there's a lot coming up. So I don't know if it's going to be good or it's going to be bad, but we're going to be here for the ride. All right, we're going to be here for the ride. Gary says, shut up, Gary. Fuck you, Gary. You want to fuck with me, Gary? Fuck you, Gary. I'm just kidding. Love you, brother. All right, man. See you next time, everybody. Enjoy the Super Bowl, all right?
EAGLES. Eagles.